What's going on, guys? Vic VP back with another Gamecase Arcades video. On this one today, my Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, property of the Air Force, totally torn down, revived, and now 100% working. Let me tell you the whole journey and the whole, just everything about this machine. I almost lost. But then came round 3, final round, and I came back. And I have defeated this machine like E Honda. Let's take a look. I shot that intro a couple times. I'm like, wow, this is taking too long for me to do the intro. But we're going to be basically doing our whole total teardown. But before we get into that, you know the drill. If you're not following me on all the socials, what are you waiting for? Be sure to follow me at Vic_VP. Click the Linktree link down below. You'll get everything: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Be sure to also like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of my fully restored Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition by Gottlieb. Again, this video, we're going to be doing a whole, just like my past videos. Let's talk about the teardown. Let's talk about the expenses. I get that a lot. Hey, Vic, how much did it cost for you to fix things? I got receipts with me. Just going to be talking about my journey with this machine. But man, it almost had me. Not going to lie, for about a week, it was doing some funky stuff. And, you know, some hair pulling was going on. But I got it. I got it. Now, we must get to the Grand Master and beat the Grand Master on this. But yeah, let's talk about Street Fighter 2 and its whole journey getting restored. Now, if you didn't watch the first video on this specific Street Fighter 2 pinball machine that I acquired, go check it out. It's going to pop up somewhere here. Keep in mind, yes, this machine was property of the US government, the Air Force, to be exact. It was really cool. As I was cleaning the cabinet, once I got everything done, I give it basically, you know, a quick, you know, clean down, whatever you want to wipe down, I should say. There's a sticker here on the side. I'll shoot some B-roll. It actually says here, yes, property of U.S. government, game table pinball game, acquired August 11, 2015, followed by a whole serial number. So if you watch that first video, the person I got this from did say that they had it in the warehouse for about 10 years, which checks out. This is about 9 years and a couple of months now, 2025. It was just cool to kind of see that. I was like, oh, the seller was right. He had it for about 10 years. So again, if you didn't check out the whole backstory, the journey of me getting this and how I acquired it, be sure to go check back on that video. Now, this is my first Gottlieb machine. This one right here, it almost took me out. I was almost at a point where I was like, you know what? The game right now is kind of working, so I could live with it. But the big thing is that you got to keep in mind, just, you know, take a step back, breathe, and then come back to it. Eventually, you will get it working. There was a couple of nights where I was like pulling my hair out. But then again, keep in mind, for the amount of money I paid, knowing that it didn't work, this is to be expected. Right now, I am ecstatic. I'm very happy that I could proudly say this thing works 100%. Why do I keep exaggerating that? I've seen a couple of Street Fighter 2s on the marketplace, by me at least. And, you know, they got some custom powder coating on like the wire forms and all that. But the biggest thing I see is that people's Chun-Li motor, it's a motor, it's not spinning anymore. And unfortunately, Chun-Li, that motor, you cannot, I've tried, you cannot find the replacement for that motor. What's really crazy is that once I got everything dialed in, and like I said, I'm going to talk about the journey, I basically had a couple of areas, a couple of boards, under the playfield, which I'll probably open up, there's a couple of boards, like for optos and all that, there's resistors and transistors that apparently they got some cold solder, and basically the legs of them broke off and they weren't making 100% connections. What was really crazy was that once I got all that working, Chun-Li, she's spinning now. Now, don't worry, I'm gonna talk about the whole teardown process, revive. Again, I gotten so many requests where people say, hey Vic, you should actually talk about how much you actually spent. So I have my receipts ready to go. We'll talk about that when the time comes. I did learn a lot, especially on this one. You know, a couple of things that, like, you know, when you wanna modernize a game, I basically learned something about metal posts that hold the slingshots in. And apparently there's Loctite, and I broke 4 posts, and that led to me ordering a couple of parts from Marco, and I had to wait a week, and yeah, so stay tuned, don't worry. But right now, again, this is a Gottlieb pinball machine. This is my first ever Gottlieb. I kind of feel like this System 3, it's kind of like Data East, where, you know, the playfield and the gameplay is kind of the same. It's just kind of re-themed. I wouldn't be looking at any other Gottlieb other than Super Mario Bros. But after experiencing this, I feel like Mario Bros would be the same type of gameplay. So I'm not really no longer in the market for a Mario Bros. Gottlieb, number one, the parts on this, they're very unique parts. I'll be talking about 3 specific targets that I had to swap out, which in Gottlieb, they have smart switches. And apparently these smart switches are, I don't want to say the word difficult, but you have to basically go to Pinball Resource, PB Resource, to get parts for Gottliebs. This is what's cool when it comes to restoring pinball machines and all that. You learn a lot. You discover new things that you never knew before. For example, like this Gottlieb, you know, the machine is actually kind of taller compared to like other machines. It's not my legs. I'll talk about the legs too, if you notice that there are red legs on this. It's kind of interesting. The cabinet is like taller than other machines, but I do remember seeing, for example, a Mario Bros on location. Yeah, the cabinet, like the lockdown bar is taller than other machines. Again, quite a experience, quite a learning, you know, curve. Seeing all these, you know, Gottliebs, Bally's, Stern. It's like every machine is built differently. But yeah, as far as Gottlieb, this was a cool experience. Like I said, I just got this game working yesterday. So I was like, let me shoot this video. I plan to do a live stream. We'll actually play it. If it's gonna stay in my collection, I don't know yet. I still have to kind of play it. I've only played about 4 or 5 games because I said, you know what, I got it working. I got to get back to work and cutting some cabinets, and let's get this video done. And most likely this will probably make it to the basement. I think I'm gonna bring this down to the basement. Now let's talk about the teardown process, because again, when I first got this machine, I knew a couple of things wasn't working. I kind of worked backwards on this. I tore down everything. So like I said, I have a 6-foot table, and I took piece by piece everything off. If you follow me on Instagram, or even as a couple of YouTube shorts, I kind of show the process. That's why you should follow me on all the socials. I basically dismantled everything and put it to the side, and I had the playfield clear. Again, the playfield is amazing. I think it's great. You get your standard like 2 scoop holes that have, like, you know, the artwork is kind of chipping off of them, where apparently I could get cliffies. But other than that, the playfield is actually very nice. Once I started dismantling, I took all the wireforms out. The first thing I did want to tackle was the car crunch. Now again, if you go back on the first video, you can't even see the car crunch. That's how filthy and dirty it is. But I dismantled it. It's quite a large mech underneath. It's I would probably say it's about 2.5 feet long. Again, that car crunch, that was something that was a big concern. Also, take a look at this, look at this. To all the haters for my V-pin haters, look at the lockdown bar on a Gottlieb. So many people say, Vic, your lockdown bar is kind of small. This is the smallest, look at that. And it works. The edges are great. I was kind of shocked when I see that. So, like I said, talking about the car mech, I figured, hey, why not? Let me actually take the glass off and let's lift up the playfield. I was ecstatic when I discovered that the car mech was actually there, but it was behind and underneath a thick, thick layer of just dust and dirt. So again, Gottliebs like this, older games like this, there's actually no like kill switch here. So everything is technically live. I'm lifting this up because I want to show you the size of the car crunch mech. I'll obviously shoot some B-roll so it makes it easy on the eyes, but no joke, it's here all the way down to here. This right here is about 2 feet. It's a 2-foot board, and it's only held in by 2, 4, 6. 6 legs / 6 screws. And it's quite a process because when you remove this mech, you also have access to like the subway. I cleaned all the subways. Again, this teardown was pretty deep. It was filthy, and I'm just happy that I cleaned it. A buddy of mine, when I was out at Stern to see Dungeons and Dragons, you know, we were talking about restoring machines. It was Dominic from the Pinball company. He was telling me, he's like, yeah, we have people that restore the machines, and you know, people will just kind of clean the top of the playfield, but if you don't clean the subways, that dirt from the subways just winds back up on your playfield. Again, I've seen the bottom of several different companies and playfields now. This one right here, kudos to Gottlieb. A lot of Molex connectors. So this right here, this whole Car Crunch mech is basically just connected via like 8 Molexes, but there are a couple of boards here that activate certain things, which again, I'll talk about later on when it came to my optos. The optical sensors, I had an issue with 2 optical sensors. And to my surprise, the opto boards are underneath the Car Crunch, connected to the Car Crunch. But yeah, taking apart this Car Crunch, what a journey it was. Took everything out. I was very happy to see the plexiglass now. So the other issue I had, the plexiglass at the top of the playfield was actually sunken in. And if the ball rolled over it, it would go down the line. Like it would basically affect the ball path. And happily now, whoever maybe tried to clean that in the past, they basically had it too tight. So that was cool. At least now my plexi is good and smooth. It's always times like this where I kind of wish I record during the process. But as I cleaned the actual car mech, it's basically plastic walls. I do have the original car. The red car is here, but sad to see that just like others, the car plastic broke off. Now, in all honesty, I have it right now taped, and the tape works. You know, the mech just kind of pushes it back and it comes back forward. Now, the one mistake I did, the way this car mech is that there's, you know, it's basically a big, like, you know, bash toy with a long rod connected to a spring. When I first had it before I cleaned it, it was very difficult to get the car to get, it was basically like gunked up. I had to grease up this rod. And basically now I maybe greased it up a little bit too much, where it's kind of easy to complete Car Crunch. You could basically get it done in about 3 hits. If you watch the first video, I actually failed the Car Crunch. That's really because, again, the rod was so caked with like gunk, it wouldn't hit the micro switch that would say, hey, you completed it. So it is what it is. My brother tried it and he's like, wow, that's kind of easy. And it's like not as, what's the word? It was like anticlimactic. I was like, I know, I over greased it. Like it's too clean now. But all in all, the car mech works. The ball that was in it is awesome. There's basically just 2 little dimples in that playfield that you really can't do anything about. It's kind of like just where the ball sits. But I'm very happy the Car Crunch works, and it does have the original red plastic car in it. So Car Crunch done, complete, cleaned. Like I said, when I first got the cabinet, I was worried, number one, that there was no actual Car Crunch mech there. It's just there was so much dirt underneath that plexiglass. The second worry was that that plexiglass was sunken into the playfield. Basically, I just had to put some like rubber, a little thin piece of rubber to make sure it's like balanced out. So it's kind of crazy to see like the engineering behind like a lower playfield. Next thing that came up was the ramps. I have the 2 ramps that wouldn't activate, and a simple 1 amp slow blow fuse was entirely missing out of this whole cluster here. So quickly went to Amazon and that worked. So that was a very big relief. The other thing right now, like I kind of would look into, but to me, it doesn't affect it too much. I'd probably look into maybe rebuilding the flippers. I'll do some gameplay later on. You're gonna kind of see that like when the ball bounces off the flipper actually kind of moves a lot than like, you know, my modern games. Again, to me, it's not that big of a deal. I also do notice that sometimes my left flipper will be a little bit lower than it should. I believe that comes to the whole coil stops and all that. But again, it's nothing too crazy. I could always work on that later on. I could at least flip the game and it plays. Now, this is like the fun of like restoring and fixing a pinball machine. You kind of get like a checklist going. Like, okay, car crunch, check, works. Plexiglass is level to the playfield. Awesome, big smiley face, yay. Second thing on the list was the ramps. Needed a simple fuse, check, works, yay. Now, what I thought was one opto sensor that I had an issue with really turned to two opto sensors. This right here, this is what I almost threw the towel in. It was hair pulling this. So let's talk about these opto sensors. Now keep in mind, in this stage of the game, playfield is totally disassembled. I waxed the playfield 3 times, you know, so it's like a 3-day thing or really 2 days. You know, you wax, wait an hour, you take off the residue, wax again, rinse and repeat. Same thing, I polished the metal wire forms and such. I was at a point where I was ready to reassemble. And I said to myself, before I reassemble, let me go into the switch test and let's make sure all the switches work. Luckily, all the switches worked except for one. One opto sensor wasn't working. Now, off the bat, the opto boards on this game are actually connected to the car crunch mech. It's via like Molexes, so it's 4 Molex. It was just kind of crazy to learn that, like, you know, these boards don't have anything to do with the car crunch, but they're connected to the car crunch, physically connected. So that was pretty funny and pretty cool to learn that these 2 green boards right here are really for the opto sensors. Now, like I said, I had the playfield disassembled. I had these ramps, which have the opto sensors on them. You have the Zangief ramp, you have the Guile ramp, and then there's basically two separate sensors. One is for Chun-Li, and one is like the skill shot. Like there's a sensor when you do the skill shot. So I have basically 4 optos, and upon testing, one opto wasn't working. Let's just call it was the Guile one. And again, I basically took the ramps, I connected them via Molex, and I just ran my finger through them. This Guile one wasn't registering. So I said, hey, let me take Guile ramp and put it to Zangief's Molex. Sure enough, when I did that, it worked. So that means opto sensor, the physical sensor, is good. The bad thing, though, is that means that there's something wrong with the game. There's like a disconnect somewhere. Long story short, right here on one of the green boards, there's this resistor. And upon further inspection and using the multimeter didn't really help actually with this. Upon further inspection, one of the legs to this resistor had a cold solder joint and basically just was disconnected. And honestly, the only way I discovered that was that I just I gave it like a little, and sure enough, I was like, oh man, one of these legs is not connected. Went to the bench, took the board out, brought it to the bench, desoldered, resoldered, and now Guile works. I now took the resoldered board, put it back, ran the switch test, and it's just an amazing feeling when it works. It's like, yes, did it. Now, I did mention I had 2 opto sensor board issues. The second one I didn't discover / even know I had an issue until I put the entire playfield back and I started playing my first game. Like I mentioned before, this part right here was where I was pulling my hair because I'm like, oh, I thought I was done, and another issue suddenly came out of the woodworks. This one was kind of interesting. It was related to the Chun-Li sensor. Basically, if you shoot the right ramp and you actually pass Chun-Li because she's trying to block your shot, it will pass an opto board. And as I was playing and wailing on the flippers, I would look at the DMD and I was suddenly getting points for Chun-Li, as if like the ball kept passing the sensor and I wasn't even near it. And for 2 days, I'm just sitting here and I did the same thing where I switched the Chun-Li Opto to another Opto, which in this case I used the Skill Shot Opto. And it wasn't the Opto board itself that was an issue, because when I swapped the sensors, it worked. It was fine, but then I noticed that, you know, if I'm flipping the flipper like 10 times, that's when it would activate this Opto. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? The Opto board worked, but there's something in the game that is like triggering this. And no joke, for 2 days, it's just, I'm looking at like wires to make sure there's nothing, you know, wrong. Maybe there's a ground somewhere. And like I said, I was trying to replicate it. This is where I knew, like, this is like I said, where I was pulling my hair. It would only happen if I'm hitting the flippers. Nothing else. You know, I'm like, why? Is it something with the flipper? Basically, long story short, my other green Opto board here had a resistor not totally soldered in. What does that mean? Basically, the vibration of the flippers going off and the vibration of the cabinet, this leg, no joke, is basically just like touching. And it would basically turn on and off the Opto, registering it. It might sound silly. That, no joke, I was going to throw in the towel. Because I was at a point where the real reason I discovered it is that there's a mode where I collect the fighter and it'll go into car crunch. I would do car crunch, the ball would spit out, and then it would claim that I collected Vega. And the flippers die when you collect the character, so the ball would drain, and like that's it, end of ball. And I'm like, oh, this is an awful experience right now. The game is like 99% there, but some reason this thing is activating. I also kicked myself in the ass because I'm like, I should have just tested and checked all the resistors. But man, once I discovered that and now it works, I'm like, yes, beautiful. What's also kind of weird though in this whole thing, let's talk about the Chun-Li motor. Now this is weird but also funny. Chun-Li, it's a motor. It's not a coil. It is a legit motor. Before I got this last Opto resistor thing soldered in, my Chun-Li motor was working and it wasn't working. It was like an on and off thing. I basically thought that the gears inside this motor, which I actually took the motor off the playfield. And to my surprise, you cannot dismantle this motor. It is like compressed closed. You can't dismantle it. And let alone, you cannot find a replacement for this motor. I mentioned it on the live stream. My buddy Tanner sent me a link to somebody that has a Chun-Li motor for like 80 bucks. I was gonna buy a new motor. I messaged this company and they're like, yeah, we don't have that anymore and we're going out of business. And I'm like, oh crap. Okay, like update your website, close it if you're gonna go out of business. There's only one. Other than that, you cannot find this Chun-Li motor. Now, it was kind of weird. Chun-Li activates when the ramp is down. And you could hear the motor buzzing, but if I gave it a little tap, she would spin. And I was like, oh, maybe I just gotta grease it. No joke, you're talking like 3 or 4 days of greasing WD-40. And, you know, it was like on and off. And I'm like, oh man, this Chun-Li might not work at all. What's really crazy, like I said, this Opto story that I'm saying, it was the last thing for this game to work minus Chun-Li's little issue. Once I got this resistor transistor soldered in, Chun-Li now constantly spins without any need of the push. It's just like mind-boggling. It's like as if this resistor transistor needed to be connected, almost like the motor wasn't getting 100% power. Like I said, if I just gave it a little tap, like a little nudge, she would go. But glass is on the playfield. Like, you can't just give it a nudge. I'm just very happy now to see she does spin.
Ready, set, shoot.
Sure, you can see her.
Early.
Look, no help. She spins. Like I said, normally I would have to give her a little push. She spins. Sensor. So that right there, that's the Chun-Li sensor that kept going. It kept saying double, 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 double.
Ready, set, shoot.
The game has ended, but the challenge remains.
Ah, man, you don't understand that right there. You know, I was like, okay, cool. The Opto sensor works. I could deal with Chun-Li not working. I could just kind of put her there, but she's a mech in the game. Like, she's there to block you. And I was just like, damn, these freaking pinball machines, it just goes to show you that, like, if one little thing is off or not, like, soldered or not connected, it could affect other things. It's just like,
Now you know real power.
I do know real power now, yep. Now, before I discovered the thing about the Optos, one thing that I clearly saw was that the extra ball targets right here in front of the pop bumpers, to my surprise, all 3 of these targets weren't registering. This right here took about, I would say, 30 minutes to kind of diagnose. What's very crazy is that Gottlieb, this is a smart switch. Yeah. 1992, we did have smart switches. You cannot put a regular, like, leaf switch to this. You must put another smart switch to this. Yeah, that was, like, honestly, first day when I tore down,
I'm going to enjoy hurting you.
Yes, thank you. You've hurt me a lot. You know, I basically discovered I pressed this target, nothing was registering. Everything else, all the other targets worked. It's just kind of weird that 3 of them didn't work. It was kind of mind-boggling. But basically, underneath the playfield, I disconnected this smart switch, and I connected it to another switch that was in the cabinet, and the switch triggered. So the switch test said, hey, center target does work. I basically discovered, yeah, these 3 smart switch targets just dead, broken. So the only person that has these is Pinball Resource. So speaking of Pinball Resource, I bought a couple of things from him. A very interesting kind of business strategy he's got. He sent me the parts, and then I sent out a check. So I would have his website. You have to contact them via email. They just did an article about him, so it's kind of cool. It's pretty cool to see, but he's the only one that has, like, Gottlieb parts. Now, as far as Pinball Resource, what did I buy from Pinball Resource? Number 1, I bought 3 new smart switch Gottlieb targets. It's funny to say that, especially with something that's, like, this dated. So I needed 3 targets. I did buy a new shooter rod, a new shooter spring, and even the spring behind the rod. And last but not least, I did get the lock mech for the back box. That was kind of cool. In the beginning, I said to him, I was like, I need the lock mech. And he goes, I can't help you with that. But then I found, like, the part numbers. And then he's like, oh, yeah, we have that in stock. So, yes, my back box and my back glass now does have a correct lock and such. So that was a big relief, honestly. So I could come here and take out the playfield. I could lock it into place. And now we don't have to worry about glass falling out in transport.
Your problem is you're too skinny.
Oh, I wish. He said your problem is you're too skinny. I like the track mode on this. It's funny when it's got the callouts going. Again, that whole Opto board, it literally was just, I'm on cloud 9. It's like one of those things where unless you actually experience working on a machine, you don't understand, like, the satisfaction and, like, the yes, I did it, like, it works. Like, unless you get that moment, like I said, I was pulling my hair out. I'm looking inside the back box. I'm like, I don't see anything wrong. I don't see any. And then sure enough, there's one freaking little leg not soldered in. and it's just a great feeling. Now, like I said, some people want to know, they want to hear, you know, as far as the Comets, the LEDs and all that. So again, Comet LEDs on everything. This one was actually unique. LEDs on this, I didn't go multicolored. I was going to put like blue and red, and I basically just ordered all cool white. So everything, all the GI, that is cool white. As far as the inserts underneath the playfield, you have basically white, orange, red. Those I bought the correct bulb. So orange bulb for orange, red bulb for red. What was pretty cool, Fight Again and Extra Ball, it's got this purple hue. So seeing my Royal Rumble, I bought the Passion Purple. And I love how that all looks. It was actually very funny when it comes to Comet LED. I placed the order, and within about 2 hours, I suddenly realized that I shorted myself LEDs. It was very funny. I don't know how, but I was just kind of low. You could kind of see it on camera. I'll shoot you B-roll. Keep in mind, when I first got this machine, I'm talking like 95% of the halogens were all dead. They were just blown out. I was working down here. I take a look back here. There is 2, 4, 6. There's 12 more bulbs back here that I didn't know was there. Plus a flasher. And I was like, oh, son of a... I quickly messaged Comet. I said, hey, if you guys didn't mail my order out yet, if I could add more to it. So they said, yeah, that's perfectly fine. I should do a quick count. You're definitely looking at over 100 to 120 LEDs. Keep in mind also backglass converted. The total cost with Comet Pinball came out to $135. I don't know. Oh, it does include shipping on that. Yep. So Comet Pinball LED conversions, $135. But the end result is amazing. Keep in mind, I have a couple of unique bulbs. I have the 4 ups and the 4 outs where the flippers are and inside the slingshots. And I do also have the trough light. Talk about LEDs. I mean, take a look at this thing in the dark. It's like a must. It is amazing. The back box, again, everything cool white. I was playing around. There's only one colored flasher. I have actually blue for Blanca. It's kind of crazy. The playfield, Blanca's blue on the playfield. And I have actually a red flasher for M. Bison. So you can kind of see it there, actually. It's red here, and there's one blue here. That's the only like color ones. Other than that, everything is white flasher and cool white LEDs around. Right here alone, I'll take it off. I think there's about 50 LEDs just in the back box. Again, luckily with Pinball Resource, I got the lock mech. Look at that. Boom. Woo, blinding. Yeah, no joke. You're looking at around 50. Yeah, 50 cool white. I have like the one green here you might be able to see. And then there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's about 15 flashers here alone. So yeah, when you want to talk about how many LEDs and all that, how many bulbs are in a pinball machine, there is a lot. All right, next up we got the rubbers from Titan Rubber. So all new rubbers across the board. Also with Titan Rubber, I bought these clear posts. This game had yellow posts and it was ugly as hell. So I bought clear. Titan Rubber, I spent $51. Not really too many rubbers. I actually bought a couple of extras. I don't know where they are. Like for example, the left flipper, the top left flipper here, I bought a green because I wanted to maybe put it as like Blanca green. I didn't like the way it looked because also Blanca, like I mentioned before, Blanca's blue. I did have a blue. I just didn't like the way it looked. It didn't look good. Chun-Li though is the only one that's colorized. So all the flippers, all the slingshots, I have red rubbers. I did blue on like these random rubbers on the left and the right. You know, red posts and red. It's mostly red. Chun-Li though, I did put a light blue rubber. I'm happy that I did that. I'm glad I went light blue and not dark blue because dark blue almost kind of looks black depending on the angle of it. So yeah, Titan rubbers, 51. Next up, we have the Pinball Resource. Again, quite a few things that I got here. I got the shooter rod. I got the compression spring. I got the 3 targets. Grand total for the Pinball Resource, 65. So it's adding up a little bit. Nothing too crazy. You can see there. Nothing much. And then last but not least, you do have the Pin 2 DMD from Retro City. I'll take a look at that, but I think it was like $215. Let's look at it. Retro City, $217. Now, if you've been following along, yes, you're looking at around $450. Keep in mind, half of that is because of that Pin 2 DMD. That's a small price to pay compared to the other competitors, and I do like my colorized DMDs. Now, the one thing you're gonna notice on this, yes, red legs. Vic, what? I'll be brutally honest, I've had these lying around. So these didn't really cost me much because I am a virtual pinball builder. I had a customer that switched from red legs to chrome. I already purchased the legs. They're $80 for the legs and all that, so it's A-okay. I had it laying around. Why? Why, Vic? Why did you put these red legs? This is the original. I always like to have the originals, but unfortunately, the leg right here, it's like rusted in. And not to mention I could take the bolt out, don't get me wrong, but maybe you could see that. That is a bent bolt there. That thing is yep, that thing is going sideways. So I said to myself, I have these red legs, might as well just put them on, why not? So red legs didn't technically cost me anything because I had them in storage. It looks all right, but honestly, I wouldn't put red legs on this. It's just I had it, I got lazy, I didn't want to take the bolts out, and those are very rusted, so I'll probably just give those away. Sliding in real quick, I forgot to mention about the cell battery swap. I'll probably do some B-roll because you can't really see it, but again, this board right here had a cell battery that was soldered to the actual board. Got my desoldering iron out and then resoldered it with a new, I think it's a 2032. It's your basic watch cell battery. You get these things on Amazon, pretty convenient, and it comes with this power and a switch, and yeah, I basically just soldered in a new cell battery holder, and I have it kind of double-sided taped off the board so we could avoid any future possible acid leaks on batteries. Sliding in real quick, again, I forgot to talk about my little journey as far as removing the slingshot posts. To my surprise, and I should have done a little bit of research before, these posts are actually held down with this kind of, I guess, T-nut that goes actually into the wood. Not only is it held down with this nut, but it's actually Loctited. A lot of people on the forum said I should have actually heated up the Loctite so it would come off smoothly. Basically, I snapped off 4 posts, the metal posts. Why did I do that? I don't know who designed Street Fighter and all that, but Street Fighter had all these yellow posts. Like, this is god awful. This is ugly. Again, from Titan Rubber, I got all clear posts, and I went to remove the 4 posts holding in the slingshots, and unfortunately, I broke the entire metal post. Yeah, so that's kind of a learning thing. I never knew that. Now I know for future. I hit that point, I actually broke it. Like I said, I broke one. I was like, oh, let me just try another one. Maybe it was just a fluke. Broke the second one, and I was like, well, I'm already at this stage of the game. I broke the other 2 remaining. Popping these out, those metal ones that I broke, was easy. Just a flathead, 1 single tap on a hammer, and they just came right out. But yeah, whoever designed Street Fighter, why did you put these god-awful yellows? Everything on this now has that clear, the clear post cap. I don't know how you could explain it, but it's like the clear cone. Get that shit out of here. Now, as far as how long did it take me to, finish complete, I would say it took about a month. I mean, if you see the video that went out, and then by the time this one goes out, it'll probably say a month. It was a journey. That's all it is. Usually it takes about 2 to 3 weeks. You got to tack on that 1 week of like waiting for rubbers and LEDs to come in. Now, the one the one thing that like, I look at this machine, the only thing that just kind of hurts my heart and I feel kind of bad about is the previous owner, this Chun-Li mech. It's very interesting how it's being held in. Basically, there's a post underneath her, which I'll shoot some B-roll. This post, it connects the motor underneath and Chun-Li on top. And unfortunately, whoever had it before, they must have had the flipper all the way down and it rubbed against, you know, this upper play field. I cannot find another upper play field. Now, I was contemplating on maybe getting my vinyl guy to make me a new sticker. It's just like right here. Like I said, I'll shoot B-roll. It's like right here. I see the art and I'm like, ah. You know, unfortunately, whoever had it before, the flipper was rubbing up against this playfield. Now I have the flipper elevated a little bit, so it's not gonna rub. I could live with it. I might just, you know, maybe the other thing is trying to find the actual artwork for this. I have like a picture, but it's not like high resolution, so it's like, you know, it's a lose-lose. But other than that, man, Street Fighter works. And yeah, I will be streaming it. I'm very excited to stream it. I'll do my whole, I'm gonna put LEDs underneath like I normally do. I'll do my audio mod where we could do the headphone jack for streams. And yeah, Street Fighter. You almost took me out, but I will be the Grandmaster soon. All right, without further ado, let's get some gameplay of this. Again, LEDs don't capture that great. I'll leave the lights on and then I'll turn the lights off. But without further ado,
Prepare for the ultimate challenge.
Ready, set,
early.
early. Use the flipper.
Use the razor.
Nice, there you go. Can you see the car mech? You could, okay, cool.
Select your victory award.
We're gonna go car crunch, obviously, here we go.
You win.
So again, easy because of the amount of grease I put on it, but it's A-okay. Let's try to get M. Bison. Nope. Ah. Again, Chun-Li spinning. There's E. Honda. Let's do multiple, why not? Oh, I lost one. Oh.
Silly girl can't fight.
Come on. Try to get Chun-Li.
You're toast.
Oh. It needs a clean hit. There it is. Oh, she blocked me. Damn it. We need M. Bison on the right. Oh, damn it. Turn off the garage lights.
Ready, set, shoot.
Use the flipper.
Oh,
Use the razor.
yes. I got past her. Yes.
Shoot the razor target.
Shoot the bracelet targets. No, we need a Ken. Come on, let's get M. Bison. Nope. There it is. Roaming ninjas. Look at the flashes on this. On roaming ninjas. It's awesome. It's a roving shot. You basically gotta collect. There's one. Gotta get Guile. I went under. Okay, all right, all right. Oh, you hear Blanca. No. The shot moved. Now it's on the bottom. It's over here now. 7 seconds. Come on, come on. Yes, there's one. It's 10 mil. Oh, no, bring it back. We need Blanca. Oh, yes, center post save on that. Mode over. Try to collect Vega. Ah.
I'm going to enjoy
Come on, Vega, Vega, Vega. Oh, didn't complete it. No. Oh, center post again. Oh, damn it. Center post, good save. Oh, the sounds on this are great. We collected Ryu at least. Yeah. Love it. Love it. We can do another multi-ball before we end. Again, jackpots are blinking. There's one. Oh. Oh. Come on. Oh, I lost one. Awesome. Now, honestly, with that gameplay, my machine's not leveled. It literally will move a little bit because I moved it for the video. But man, it's just it's an amazing feeling to play it, and you don't see like errors going off. So somebody's gonna be like, "Hey Vic, you were in that multi-ball and you hit E Honda, but it didn't collect the jackpot." Yes, older games like this, if you look very carefully, my ball went up here to Dalsum. It's a subway, so it activates E Honda.
Fighting a weakling like you.
It activates, it goes to E Honda, it doesn't recognize the second ball. It's so cool. Now, what's funny is that my brother came over Sunday, and this is really Sunday when I discovered I had an issue with Chun-Li's Opto. My brother was playing it, and all of a sudden he entered this torpedo mode, and we lost the ball. But the torpedo score just kept going up, and he walked away. He's like, "Yeah, I think I broke it." Now it works. My brother played it for like 10 minutes, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know about this one." I was like, I have to get it working 100%, because when he played it, Chun-Li wasn't fully working. He noticed Chun-Li spinning, and he's like, "Whoa!" And sure enough, like, he gets blocked by Chun-Li, and it was really cool. In his moment, the ball just was rattling around up here because Chun-Li just kept kicking it. So he's like, "God damn it!" Like, it was cool. It was very cool to see somebody play it and to see Chun-Li block it. Again, it sounds weird, but now that this works 100%, he'll come over Sunday.
How many bones should I break?
Did he just say how many balls should I break? Or bones? I'm more excited to see him on Sunday come and play it. I'm really excited to stream it. This game gets so much hate. I don't know why. I could kind of feel it. I'll be honest, this is a very good beginner game. I haven't gone too far, but you know, be sure to stay tuned on a live stream. Maybe we will try to get Grand Master. I'll tell you one thing, if you see my virtual pinball streams of Street Fighter, this is the one thing I said it on that live stream of me playing on V-Pin. I did say to myself, I was like, damn, Guile. This Guile loop, it's a hard shot to hit in V-Pin. It's a pain in the ass to hit on a real pin. It's a difficult shot. Like I said, you can kind of see, you'll see it definitely on the live stream. I got to kind of just figure out my flipper situation. I think that's what it would be. It would be like the coil stops to prevent it from sagging. That's like an easy thing. I'm hoping it's easy to fix, but to me it doesn't kill the game. It's fine. I'll fix that. But man, Street Fighter 2, it works. It works, and Chun-Li is spinning. Man, it's like, Vic, why are you so tall? Why is this? You don't understand. Chun-Li spinning. I don't see her spin. Now it's like, what do we do for mods? Mods, I don't really see much. Maybe I'll get a couple of like action figures. Maybe I'll get a Ryu. I'll get a Zangief. But seeing this from V-Pin to now seeing it in real life, it changes the game. And it's you know, V-Pin is a great experience. I like my V-Pin, but I'm not gonna be too cocky about it. I'm hoping on stream we'll beat the Grand Master. But yeah, that's my little story with Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. Well, guys, there you have it. My little teardown, revive, a couple of issues I ran into, but now fully working Gottlieb's Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. Also forgot to mention, I cleaned the back glass. I took a nice, I took a blade to it. We took out that residue. So the residue that was holding up this sign that was right here is no more. Man, what a journey. What a story. Again, once property of the U.S. Air Force is now in my garage, fully working 100%. Again, be sure to stay tuned. We'll get some live streams. Once I get some live stream gameplay, I'll make the call if I plan to keep this. Will this be a bolted game or not? I don't know. I had fun. I'm having fun. I have, keep in mind, it's been in the garage. I got to level it better. I'm having fun. And that's because it's pinball. And pinball is fun. No matter what game you play, pinball gives you that rush. Again, VigVP, Gamecase Arcades. I'm coming after you, Grandmaster. I will GC you. Hadouken!